Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Ringo TV Reactions. I'm back again with another one. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. I want to bring awareness to this particular topic here. We're talking about the Trump DC National Guard takeover versus anti-Trump YouTuber who encourage people to fight the government. Now, this is pretty problematic. You know, in a day of today where you have a lot of crime, violence in the Black community, in the world, Trump appeared to be doing a good job cleaning up this mess that the Black community don't want to deal with. And you got these YouTubers that are anti-Trump folks, and they want to encourage people to fight against the government. They want people to go to war. They want people to resort to violence. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what is the problem, because, you know, in DC, there's a lot of crime, a lot of mental health issues. Nobody don't want to follow the law. Nobody don't want to follow the rules. It's unsafe for kids. You can't live in a peaceful community. And yet, you got these kind of YouTubers that are possessed by the devil that just don't get it. Shout out to everybody coming in. Appreciate everybody stopping by. We got Edward in the building. Sarah. She's creative. We got Tim. Got Brainwaves Advice Topics LLC. You know what I mean? Dolomite. Going on. KP. Val Hawkins. What's going on? So, I want to talk about this issue, guys, because I don't think people get it. You know, the whole situation that's going on in DC is law and order. But you got this YouTuber named New Breed Global Lies who want to protect criminals. He's not living in DC, but he's crying about his hometown. And he took it to social media to make this post right here. And I want to talk about that. I want to read the comments from his followers of his cult to see, are these people planning to fight the government? Are these people planning on a war? And they're orchestrating this war by recruiting people on a social media platform. I'm trying to figure this out because according to New Breed, he says, they just turned my hometown into a military zone. And if you think it stops here, you're not paying attention. Might not be living there now, but DC is where I'm from. And what they're doing to it is straight up foul. Trump just snatched control of the city, took over the police, and brought in the National Guard like it's a war zone. All this off a so-called crime emergency that doesn't even line up with the facts. This ain't about safety. It's about control. They're pushing people out, targeting the homeless, and stripping the power from the folks the residents actually voted for. DC is just the testing ground. They already got their eyes on other Black majority cities. This is a violation of human rights. And it's a warning shot to the whole country. If they can roll into the Capitol and take over, they can roll into your city next. We can't just sit back. Speak up. Call it what it is. Once we accept military occupation in our city, it's only a matter of time before the whole nation is under the same boot. So basically, what New Breed is suggesting is that people go to war with the federal government to stop the National Guard from taking over. Now, keep in mind, this is a YouTuber who is an anti-Trump demon who hates white people, and he hates Trump. And he's trying to recruit black people to fight against the government. You know, what's going on? Floridine Rollo in the building. What's happening? Got V-Dub Man in the building. Marissa, Urema. What's going on? Wise Fox, Karen Young. Going on? What's going on? So we're having a conversation, guys. We got Rutgers too. What's going on? When you read this particular post by this YouTuber, it's very clear that he is upset with Trump, and he's upset with the fact that Trump is trying to clean up the community. Now, keep in mind, in DC, there's a lot of crime, violence, mental health issues, and the homeless don't want to go to the shelters. They want to stay on the streets. And when you stay on the streets and you got mental health issues, you pose a threat to the community. And this is the same in all cities. When you have homeless people just living around in the streets, they're drinking, they're smoking, they're not getting medical help. What end up happening is crime. And for whatever it is, nobody wants to deal with the issues. The black community is not solving none of these problems. So Trump decided to solve the problem. And now this YouTuber wants to recruit people to fight the government. And keep in mind, again, this man do not live in DC. He don't live there. Why don't he go there and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ? I mean, if he cared so much about people, why don't he move there? Why don't he go there and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ? Oh, I forgot. He don't follow Jesus Christ. It's all a gimmick. Because you would think that a man of God would take his time to go to DC and preach the gospel, minister. He's not doing that. And I find that to be problematic, because the goal should be to rid crime from the community, not protect criminals. For some reason, New Breed believe that Trump is targeting the homeless. It's not about targeting the homeless. They're given an option. You can go to the shelters or you can go to prison. Which one is it? I think that's a very good option. I mean, if you're being offered the resources, then why not take what is available? So all they're doing now is enforcing laws that have already been on the books. But because New Breed is not educated in the laws of the land, he don't know what he's doing. So he's trying to incite others to become rebels against the almighty system to overthrow the government. That is exactly what he's doing, guys. And he want you guys to do the work while he sit in Georgia having a good time making videos. He's trying to rile up and enrage people so that you guys can go out to DC and fight while he sit home. And that is something that I have to uncover, because I don't want you guys to go to prison or end up dead fighting the National Guard. And we need to bring awareness to this before things get out of hand. Now, my content is designed to bring awareness to the troubling situations going on in society. And this particular guy that you see on the screen is a very dangerous man. Very, very dangerous. Sick, diabolical. He loves to manipulate people, project, He likes to distract people with nonsense to keep the focus off himself. He's really recruiting an army of degenerates that will side with going to war against the government. And we have to bring awareness to these terror cells, because the post that he made is very shocking, and it's up online right now. Now, I want you to look at some of these comments, guys. I'm going to read them in a minute. We're going to go to some news reports. And again, shout out to everybody coming in the building. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. Let's stop hating. If you like the work that I do, hit the like button. It's very important. Don't just be a cloud viewer. It don't make no sense you wasting your time viewing, but you ain't hitting the like button. It's like you working against the platform. It's like you like watching me, but you don't want to see the platform grow. Which one is it? Make up your mind which side you on. So now, let me scroll to some of these comments, because it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing how people cannot see. Now, I want you to look at the middle of these set of comments. Now, keep in mind, these are his followers that are a part of his army. A person named Frederick Daniels said, "It's time for war." Keep in mind, guys, this is coming from a YouTube platform that should be teaching you biblical truth. But instead, their followers are calling for it's time for war. This is what they're doing. So this clearly is a cult that is preparing for war against the federal government. And I want to bring awareness to this because, you know, people think this is all social media stuff. No, these are people that are being programmed to hate the government, programmed to fight against truth, programmed to protect criminals. And what's crazy is these comments are allowed on that YouTuber's channel. You know, that's why I had to screen record this as a record, just in case anybody tried to delete anything, hide evidence. No, they are preparing for a war. That's what Frederick said. He says it's time for war. Now, in war, people gotta die. So I think it would be safe for me to assume that Frederick is suggesting that New Breed and his followers prepare to kill people. I think it's safe to say that. Because if he says it's time for war, he got to be fighting somebody. And all of this is because Trump called the National Guard in to clean up a mess that the Black community has produced. And it's not just Black folk that are pretty much subjected to the force that is being used. It's anybody, whether you white, Black, or whatever, but New Breed turned it into a race issue. He turned it into a white versus Black issue. He claimed that Trump is targeting the children of God. These are all lies. There's a lot of crime in DC. People are hurting. People are suffering. People are tired of walking through a city of violence. And Trump is trying to bring order so businesses are able to thrive, communities are able to grow. But for whatever reason, New Breed don't want that. He don't want a civilized community. He want to fight. My suggestion is this to all of you people, right, that side with New Breed. Why don't y'all go down to DC and fight like y'all want to? Go down there and show the federal government who's boss. Stop talking on social media. Stop being in the comment sections crying. Go down to DC. You know? Go down to DC. Go down to DC and fight. Because if you notice, guys, we got trolls that are coming in. And these are these militant cult members that are part of this criminal organization that was set up by this YouTuber. Those are the kind of people that follow him. People that want to go to war, people that are violent, people that don't want law and order. You would expect godly people to follow God, follow the Bible, follow what is righteous. But for whatever reason, they don't want to do that. Let's take a look at this news clip, find out what's going on in these streets. Then we're going to come back and pretty much read through these posts and find out more info. Let's take a look at this news brief, guys.
Regarding the president's efforts in Washington, D.C., do you have any specifics about how homeless people will be dealt with, where they would be moved to? What does this look like?
I do, yes, and it's an important question, so thank you for raising it. The Metropolitan Police Department, with the support of the new federal agencies who have been surging on the streets of the District of Columbia, are going to enforce the laws that are already on the books here in Washington, D.C. For far too long, these laws have been completely ignored, and the homelessness problem has ravaged the city. So D.C. Code 22-1307 and D.C. Municipal Regulation 24-100 give the Metropolitan Police Department the authority to take action when it comes to homeless encampments.
Do you see that, guys? She's literally talking about these laws that are in place, been in place. This is nothing new. They're now being enforced.
Encampment. So homeless individuals will be given the option to leave their encampment, to be taken to a homeless shelter, to be offered addiction or mental health services, and if they refuse, they will be susceptible to fines or to jail time.
I mean, that is clear as day. I don't see what's the problem. They're offering you services for mental health issues. They're offering you shelter so that you could get yourself together, medical treatment. And if you don't want that, if you refuse, you go to prison. I think that's a good deal. What's the problem? But for whatever reason, New Breed is suggesting that Trump is abusing power, abusing the homeless, the poor. No, they're offering them services. We don't want to see your tent outside. We don't want the streets crowded with a bunch of junk all over the place. Go to the shelters, stay off the streets, and that will rid crime. And it's not just the homeless. It's the criminal activity that's in the black community. It's criminal activity that's among white folk. You know, white people commit crimes too. But for whatever reason, the demon that is in New Breed is only focused on black people, as if black people is being targeted by Trump. Because he, in his mind, believed that Trump is a racist. So his job is to cause public outrage, maximum public outrage. So black people can fight against the government and die and go to prison while he sit in Georgia relaxing in his house, making videos, getting paid. You won't see New Breed go to DC. Why he moved out of DC? That's a question you got to ask him. What was he running from? What was he running from to leave DC and not go back? If that's his hometown and he loved it so much, why don't he go back and preach? Why is it that he moved out and didn't go back to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ? What's holding him back?
Again, these are pre-existing laws that are already on the books. They have not been enforced, which is part of the reason for this federalizing of the National Guard.
Do you see that? These laws already been on the books. and they pretty much was not enforced.
To bring in this assistance for law enforcement. While we are targeting criminals and trying to remove criminals off of the streets, we also want to make DC safe and beautiful, and that involves removing mentally disturbed individuals and homeless encampments as well. So we will be using these regulations and code that already exists to clean up our streets, and we've already had great success. Not many of you picked up on this, but the United States Park Police has actually done remarkable work in terms of removing homeless encampments from the city. Since the president signed this executive order in March, 70 homeless encampments have been removed by the U.S. Park Police. There are only 2 homeless encampments remaining in D.C. federal parks under the National Park Service's jurisdiction, and the removal of those 2 remaining camps is scheduled for this week. So the U.S. Park Police will be leading this effort alongside MPD.
Just very quickly, he had talked in one of his social media posts about moving them very far outside of the city. Is that off?
No, it's not off. We're exploring how we could do that. But again, homeless shelters, offered addiction and mental health services, or jail if they refuse are the options on the table right now.
Do you see that, guys? They have the offer to receive these resources, and if they refuse, you go to prison. What's the problem? If there's a bunch of drug addicts on the streets, drunks, and you offer them help and they refuse, what do? Leave them there so they could commit crimes when they high and drunk? See, those are the kind of people that New Breed wants to protect. He want to protect criminals, degenerates, people that are lawless, because he's lawless. A man that followed God would be pretty much in support of what Trump is doing with the National Guard. You know? But see, guys like New Breed, being that he's a criminal, being that he's a degenerate, being that he's not really a man of God, and he is a violent man who literally admitted on video that he been possessed by demons and did horrible things to women. I mean, why would a guy like that be concerned about the homeless? What have he ever done for the homeless? What have New Breed done to help homeless people? You know, nothing. But he talks a lot on social media, trying to encourage people to become violent. And that's the problem, guys. You know, I see we have a troll in the building. Nobody's able to discern it, but I could discern it. At the user EEFHDJCUDFF, right? You know, your comment stood out to me because, number one, your username is not really a username. It just was like scribble. You know, like how when somebody just go on the keyboard and they just scribble. You said a perfect country is Jamaica. Now, the reason why that person posts that comment is because they think that I'm from Jamaica. I'm not Jamaican. I am American. Born in America. Father is American, born in America. He's a United States Army veteran. My mom is from Panama. But because of all the lies that are being spread on social media by these content creators, right? They keep associating me with Jamaica. Primarily because I make dance hall music and I throw up the Jamaican flag, paying homage to all of the artists that paved the way for dance hall music. That's called respect. But they decide to post such a foolish comment because they want my attention. And that is pretty much why you don't see them in the live chat. It's like they just kind of disappeared. You see? And this is the problem with this country. It's like he's saying a perfect country is Jamaica. In other words, Jamaica has crime. Why you're not talking about Jamaica? I'm not Jamaican. That's for Jamaica's residents to talk about, right? Nice try, but I'm not Jamaican, so you failed. Right? So now, let's get back to the content and do what we got to do. Okay.
And we'll continue to explore that option. The White House's message to our small business owners across the country is you have never had a better ally or friend or supporter in this White House than President Donald Trump, who is a businessman himself, who understands your concerns and who wants to restore wealth back to our country through the powerful use of tariffs. And that's what he's focused on doing while simultaneously driving down costs. You have to remember, we are 6 months into this administration and we had a president.
Why is Gino saying, unfortunately, the Caribbeans riddled with crime? What does your comment have to do with anything that we're talking about? See, this is what I mean, guys. These demons, right? They come over here to focus on stuff that have nothing to do with the topic. Why are you talking about what's going on in the Caribbean when the topic is pretty much about what's going on in D.C. with the National Guard? Do you live in the Caribbean? I don't care what's going on in the Caribbean. I don't live there. Do you understand? I don't got time to talk about that. I just don't care, right? I don't give two F's what's going on around the world other than where I live. That's it. And it's amazing to me how people will distract you with stuff that is trivial, that makes no sense. There's crime all over the world. The topic is about Trump DC National Guard takeover. And I find it ironic that a lot of people just don't want to pay attention. And it just goes to show who graduated high school. A lot of people got left back many times. They didn't pass their grades. And it's because they don't pay attention, right? So stick to the topic and stop being a class clown.
Who had no business experience, had no idea what he was doing, and who funneled billions of wasteful spending dollars into our economy, which created the worst inflation crisis in a generation.
And Trump is cleaning up that mess. You understand? And I hope that the National Guard come to every city and clean up the mess, because people are tired of crime and violence. People are tired of a bunch of nutcases walking the streets, slashing people, stabbing people, pushing people in front of subway trains. This happens all the time in New York. And they always blame everything on mental health issues. No, it's demon possession. People are demon possessed. And because they're not getting the help that they need, they're committing crimes. But New Breed support criminals. He don't like when you talk about black issues in terms of criminals that are in the black community. He hates that type of stuff. This is why he makes videos lying and deceiving and, assuming that I'm a federal informant. I mean, how do you make videos assuming someone's a federal informant? Where did he get that from? And why is it that in his mind, the federal informants is me, Brainwaves, and Rollo, the three guys that he don't like? Make that make sense, people. So when you really think about these things, they're all distractions to hide the truth from the fact that he is a cult leader and a guy that is trying to recruit people to go to war against the federal government. And he don't want to be investigated for his criminality.
Now this president is focused on tackling inflation, deregulating, cutting costs, cutting red tape to make it easier for small business owners to thrive. And again, the economic indicators show that we are moving in the right direction. In January, when this president showed up to the White House, the 6-month annualized core inflation rate was 3.7%. Today, 6 months later, the 6-month annualized core inflation rate is 2.4%. So we are trending in the right direction, moving forward since President Trump took office, for another 6 months, inflation will be tracking at 1.9%. At this trajectory, you look at grocery prices, they fell, energy prices fell, fuel oil fell, ship fares fell, propane fell, butter, margarine, eggs, non-prescription drugs. You go through the list of items that are falling. And then I would also point to that report this morning showing that small business optimism has reached a 5-month high. So, look, we inherited an economic mess from the previous administration.
And that's exactly what it is, guys. We have to be proactive, people, and stop being degenerates. We inherited a mess from the previous administration. I'm pretty sure you all know this. So why is everybody acting like they don't know what's going on? Trump is the only president that has been cleaning up this mess. You understand? The only president that been cleaning up this mess. Like him or love him. Doesn't matter if he's white, black, I don't really care. I'm concerned with who's cleaning up this mess, because the black community ain't doing anything to clean up their community. They enjoy criminality. They enjoy criminals. You know, you go to any predominantly black community, you will find drug dealers, scammers, gunmen killing one another. Last night, I watched a video on WorldStar. I think it was a fight compilation. And all it showed was ninjas, savages killing one another. I might do a video about a particular segment where you had a pool party or a house party with a bunch of black people, and a black woman attacked another black guy's mother, and the son, ended up stabbing the woman, like stabbed her up real good, and she ended up dead. Those are the kind of things that goes on in the black community every day. And nobody talks about it because we want it to appear like the black community is a bed of roses when it's nothing but violence and crime and fighting and death. Women are feeling unsafe. Men that are productive don't feel safe in these communities because they're hated by other ninjas who are always monitoring their every move. You can't even have a nice car in the black community because they'll vandalize your car out of jealousy. A bunch of savages. And they get mad at me when I speak this truth. See, a white man cannot come on YouTube and do what I do because he'll be labeled a racist. But see, I'm a black man. And it's my job and responsibility to address these issues, just like it's the white man's responsibility to address the issues in his community. I cannot go and speak for the white community. That's not my job. My job is not to speak for Brad. My job is not to speak for Brandon. That's his job. If there's crime and violence and any issues in the white community, the white man must speak up about those issues because it's his community. Do you understand? And that's the problem. Let's see what this person says. Person says, the only thing Trump is cleaning up is our black history and washing our history away. What history? What history are you talking about? What history? Do you even know what history you're talking about? What history? You sound like a racist. You said Trump is cleaning up our black history. What black history are you talking about? Nobody cares about none of that. People trying to pay their bills. I don't know anybody that is black that is concerned about any damn black history. People trying to pay their bills. Nobody gives two F's about what you talking about. People go to work because they got bills. Nobody ain't on that pro-black, black power nonsense. People got bills to pay. And on social media, I find that a lot of people act like they are freedom fighters, but in the real world, in their neck of the woods, they ain't doing a damn thing for anyone. You understand? And that's the problem. Now look what this damn demon just said. Well, please don't disrespect me. Moderators, could you do me a favor, please? Just pack that person up real quick. Because for some reason, they have thin skin and mental health issues because they said that I disrespected them. When did I disrespect them? I never did. But this is the problem with these degenerates. They are very vocal about stuff, but can't answer simple questions. I asked them a very simple question. What Black history are you talking about? Because in none of Trump's attempts to clean up the communities did we hear him removing any such thing as Black history. I haven't seen nothing. And for whatever reason, these people, degenerates, right? They can't seem to answer these questions. Instead, they cry and play the victim and accuse you of doing things that you didn't do. When did I disrespect that person? When did I disrespect them? I never disrespect them. But this is what they said. They falsely accuse me, guys. And this is what New Breed does. He loves to falsely accuse you. You know? This is what he do. He never talk about criminality in the Black community. Have you all noticed that, guys? New Breed never talks about the crimes that Black people commit in the Black community. Never. Everything he does is anti-white, racist. He hates white people with a passion. He hates Trump and anyone that supports Trump. And he's supposed to be a Bible believer. And he's also a cult follower. He is a member of the Black Hebrew Israelites. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He is a member of the Black Hebrew Israelites, a group that is anti-white. They believe that the white man is the devil. They degrade Black women every day. They bash Black women all the time. They never take accountability for the community. They don't hold Black men accountable at all. They blame women for everything that's going on. And it's just sad. You know, it really, really is sad. And I just don't like it, guys. You know, I really don't like it. Let's see what Kevin says. He said, speak on, brother. Black community don't want hear this. I've been saying this for years, Ringo. Black comment. Effed up. I call these young men demons killing each other. Trump 2028. Well, I agree. You know, coming from the Black community, coming from the hood, I lived in the projects in Brooklyn, New York. So I know all about the crime, the demons, the savages. I mean, the whole of New York is a criminal enterprise of nothing but demonic activity, death. And it's embarrassing. I'm not with all of that pro-Black, brother. I'm not with none of that. I'm a civilized Black man. Civilized. And I don't like demons and devils and wicked people that commit crimes, whether you white or Black. I don't like criminals and I don't like liars. I believe that everybody needs to live in a safe community. And unfortunately, New Breed don't want that. He want Blacks, drunks, drug addicts to roam the streets of DC. Free. That's his goal. He don't like what Trump is doing, which is sick. So basically, New Breed want drunks with mental health issues to roam the streets of DC committing crimes. That's what he wants. Trump has given the homeless a choice. Didn't God give us a choice? He said, I set before thee life and death, blessings and cursings. Therefore, choose life, that both you and your family may live. Well, Trump have set before the homeless life and death, blessings and cursings. And he told them, take the resources we provide in. You can get mental health services. You can live in a shelter. You can get food, water, clothing. If you don't want that, then we're going to put you in prison. What's so hard about that? What's so hard about that? What's the problem? What is so shocking that people are outraged by what Trump is doing? Do you want the city to be cleaned up or not? I'm beginning to think that black folk love lawlessness, and it's no wonder why we were thrown in slavery by the Most High. It's because of this level of rebellion, guys. We hate truth. We hate to acknowledge the truth. You know? It's a tough call, but somebody got to do it. And that's what Trump is doing, guys. He's doing what nobody wants to do, and that's the job. Shout out to Floridine Rollo for the support. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. Guys, remember, as you come into the building, be sure to hit the like button. Stop being a hater in the clouds. We got 235 people, only 113 likes, which tells me that we got some haters. Look, people, look. You may not like me personally, right? At the same time, please use your brain. You're human. Would you like to live next to criminals? Would you like to live next to a park or a wooded area where a bunch of homeless people are with tents and they're plotting on robbing your house, raping your daughters and sons, committing violence acts against your mothers and grandfathers and parents and the elderly? Is that what you want? Or do you want a clean community where you can go and live and do what needs to be done? You have to make your mind up, guys. You know? So again, shout out to Floridine Rollo for the support. He says, like I stated last year, they will clean up, and now these sinners will be arrested and be in prison overseas. Support truth, not sinners. New Piss is wicked. I agree. New Piss is a demon because he supports sinners. The Bible even tell you not to support sinners in the way that New Breed is. You're not supposed to support these kind of demons. He's enabling the dysfunctional behavior that is going on in DC, guys. Why? Because that's how he is. He's reckless, lawless. He's not preaching the gospel. He want public outrage. He want people to become violent, guys. That's what he want.
This administration is focused on fixing it every day, and part of that is signing the largest tax cuts into law to put more money back into the pockets of these small business owners.
Just on the BLS, they collect the inflation data, obviously. If the jobs data is not reliable, should Americans trust the inflation data?
Well, look, the jobs data has had massive revisions. We want to ensure that all of the data, the inflation data, the jobs data, any data point that is coming out of the BLS is trustworthy and is accurate, which is why the president has restored new leadership at the BLS. There have been, unfortunately, far too many victims of crime in this city, and I know the majority of residents in the District of Columbia agree with you. In fact, a new poll from the Washington Post I was reading this morning, this was released in May of 2024, so it's quite funny how many of you in the media agreed with what the president was saying yesterday, but now once the president says it, many of you are disagreeing with him. But this poll released by the Washington Post found that 65% of district residents think crime is an extremely serious or a very serious problem, and this was up from 56% last year. So the concern that you share with so many other residents in the District of Columbia is real, and that's why this president is taking action to address it. To get to the heart of your question, I think it's despicable that Democrats cannot agree that we need more law and order in a city that has been ravaged by violence, crime, murders, property theft. This should be a winning issue for all Americans.
And see, this is why content imitators like New Breed Global Lies is possessed by demons. Because for whatever reason, he just can't seem to realize that The devil is in him. See? The devil is in New Breed because he's enabling the criminals. You would think that he would be in support of Trump, but instead, he's anti-Trump. He believed that what Trump is doing is oppressing the poor, oppressing the homeless. That's crazy. He's cleaning up a mess. People are suffering. People are tired of criminals. Those of you that live in the Black community, those of you that live in the hood, and you may be watching my live right now, how many of you working class, civilized Black people? I'm not talking about ninjas. I'm not talking about savages, because what New Breed loves to do is he loves to program his viewers into thinking that I hate Black people, which is dumb because I'm a Black man. That would work if I was white, but I'm not white, I'm Black. I have a Black wife and 4 Black daughters, so there's no way I can hate Black people as a whole. What I don't like is savages, ninjas, degenerates, demons, criminals. I don't like them. They need to be banished from the earth and put to rest. I don't like them. They have no purpose on earth other than to inflict pain and steal from people who work hard for what is theirs. There is no purpose for criminals other than causing harm. So if you're a civilized Black person, a working class adult who is tired of these degenerate demons in the Black community, put a 1 in the chat so the world can know that you're a civilized Black human being who is tired of all the crime. The world needs to know. You know, if you're a Black homeowner who work hard to provide for your family, to provide them a lifestyle, you don't want criminals in your community. You don't want people breaking in your house where you have to be forced to use your gun. Most of us gun owners, we really don't want to use our guns. We really don't. Most gun owners, real gun owners, they don't want to use their gun. They really don't. They don't. But if they have to protect their family, they will. You see what I mean? We don't want criminals in the community. We don't want to be worried about our wives going to the store and being mugged by a drunk or some homeless guy because he's mad at the world. So what New Breed is trying to do is make you feel sorry for the homeless. Today's homeless is not the homeless that the scriptures speak of, the needy. No, today's homeless want to be on the streets. That's where they want to be. And they're using drugs and they're drinking and committing crimes, violent acts. You got homeless men that are raping little girls in DC, and New Breed is protecting them. New Breed is protecting rapists that are violating young girls. Could you believe that? He don't want them to go to jail. He want Trump and the National Guard to leave these criminals alone so they could thrive and commit more crimes. You would think that he would be in agreement with Trump, but he's not, guys. He's pro-crime. What a shame.
I don't understand. It's just anything President Trump does, the Democrats want to disagree with. I think the president would love to work with Democrats on this issue to bring law and order to America's cities, but unfortunately they have failed, and that's why he's taken this historic action to federalize the National Guard. And as you're seeing from last night's numbers, we already have seen success. We are removing violent offenders, we are arresting criminals, and we are removing drugs and firearms off of the streets of the city to make it safer for all of its residents.
Just a very quick follow-up to that. Given the heroic actions of a member of this administration just a few blocks from this building, will the president consider giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Big Balls?
I haven't spoken to him about that, but perhaps it's something he would consider. I'll ask him and get back to you, Benny. Thanks for being here.
You see that, guys? This is the problem that we have in today's day. Let's look at another news brief, guys. Another news brief. Let's check this out. Hold on a minute. Here we go.
Video showing FBI agents walking the streets of D.C. after President Trump ordered the federal takeover of the city's police department. The move has sparked mixed reactions. Some support the move, others are protesting the move. And you can see evidence of that in this video showing...
Notice this, guys. Notice this. This is what's funny to me. The majority of the people that are marching are white. Ain't that interesting? They're not black. Have you noticed that? The majority of the people that are marching around are white. You would think New Breed would be out there marching. How come? That's a good question. How come New Breed is not in D.C. marching? How come New Breed don't go to D.C., take a trip out there, get the live stream going, get the cameras out, and protest with the natives? Because he's not really about that life. He talk a good talk on social media trying to get all of you folks to go do the dirty work. But he's not out there with boots on the ground, fighting the fight. He's not doing it. White people are the ones that are out there. Now, why would white people be out there if this is a black issue? Because it's not a black issue. But New Breed tries to turn it into a race thing. No, because this issue affects everyone, white and black, that are in D.C. Shout out to Austin for the support. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. And Samuel with $1.99. Appreciate you sponsoring work. Austin says, New Breed is just like the savages he's protecting. That's a fact. He's protecting the savages, guys. And it's sad. You know? Now, again, a lot of the people that are pretty much out there going against what Trump is doing, they're anti-Trump. You know? Everybody got their cause for why they do what they do. But I don't see black people. You might have a few, but the majority of people out there marching are white, not black.
Demonstration earlier this week in DuPont Circle denouncing the move. So clearly you have a lot of questions, and so do we. This morning we're hearing firsthand where D.C.'s mayor and the city's police...
Do you see all the white people, guys? White people.
Both stand and what they believe is next and best for the city. In an exclusive interview right now, Fox 5 is speaking with the two leaders live. So let's get right to Marissa. She is in D.C. off Georgia Avenue with Mayor Bowser and Police Chief Smith to get some answers. Marissa?
All right, Steve, thanks so much, and thank you to both of you for joining us here live on Fox 5 to discuss this very important story, not just for D.C., but I will argue the entire country. Mayor Bowser, we've gotten through the first night of this federal surge. What do you want the people of D.C. to know in regards to the coordination with the city in this regard?
Well, I want them to know that their chief of police, our chief of police, Pamela Smith, who has years and years of experience working both at the local level and the federal level, is working with federal law enforcement partners to help deploy the surge resources, the additional resources, in a way that is going to help us continue to drive down crime.
What does that look like, Chief Smith? How will this work? Will certain areas receive more coverage? What's the details on the strategic plan?
Now remember, guys, this is all to drive down crime. New Breed don't want crime to be driven down. He want crime to go up. You folks that follow New Breed Global Lies have to wake up, guys. Like, seriously. You have to wake up from his delusion and the lies, bro. Now think about this, guys. New Breed recently released a video accusing me of being a criminal and all sorts of crazy stuff. Guys, I've never been arrested in my life. I've never been arrested in my life. But to distract you from holding him accountable in his diabolical act of recruiting people to his cult to commit crimes and wage war against the federal government, he likes to distract you with stuff. Ringo admits this. Ringo confesses to this. Ringo did this. Ringo did that. Guys, I'm not even making videos about this guy. All I'm doing is just reporting the news in regards to what's going on. You don't see me making these type of silly videos. I don't got time for all that. But his audience is dumb. Like, his audience is dumbed down. They don't have brain cells, guys. They really don't. You know? The guy is delusional. Anybody in their right mind should be like, bro, why are you anti-Trump? You don't want D.C. to get cleaned up? You don't realize the crime that's going on there? New Breed don't live there. And he's acting like they taking over my hometown. You know, that's my home. Why don't you go live there? If it's your hometown, go live there. Stop acting like you care. You don't care about nobody. You care about his pockets, guys. This is social media. New Breed do not care about nobody but his pockets. You got to understand this, guys. He only care about the pockets. How much money he's going to earn this month. That's it. That's it. He's trying to make it seem like he's outraged by what's going on to make you get upset. And that way you can watch the videos and be outraged. And when you watch his videos, he makes his money. That's what it's all about, guys. It's just like that YouTuber Dodash that just play the victim and struggle stream all day. And people so dumb, they keep watching her and supporting her and giving her money. And she's scamming all these people. People are dumb. I mean, it is what it is. I got to just say what needs to be said straight. You know? Anyway, let's get back at the content.
What I'll say is this. We have heard from many of our community members since I've been here over the last 2.5 years. And one of the things that has been very concerning for me is areas around the city where there's crime. And you know, we have our officers in certain places. This is a great opportunity for us to build upon continuing to drive down crime with our federal law enforcement partners. And what that looks like is the U.S. Marshal has an inter-agency incident management team where we will assist them with coordinated efforts around our city. I mean, you've been here, you've reported out on different areas around our city where we've seen spikes in crime. So what we're going to do is build up on that and working collaboratively with our U.S. Marshals, our DEA, and all of the other federal partners here to ensure that we're placing resources around our city in those areas where we've seen an impact at this increase in crime.
The White House announced 23 arrests last night, including a homicide, DUI, fare evasion, and other crimes. Is that on par with what we generally see on a weeknight in D.C., more or less?
Not necessarily. I mean, remember, you're talking about 500 additional personnel in the District of Columbia. And as you know, we've talked about the fact that we're down in numbers with our police officers. And so this enhanced presence clearly is going to impact us in a positive way.
See, it's going to impact them in a positive way, guys. But New Breed don't want the National Guard and their presence to impact the city in a good way. He's upset about this because that means the drug dealers are going to get caught, the criminals are going to get caught, and, you know, the black community won't be able to be as toxic as it is, or the streets in general. He's primarily focused on the black community. If you notice, New Breed don't care about whites in DC. So if you're a white viewer who view New Breed, he don't care about what is affecting white people in DC. If you notice in that clip, you saw white people protesting in the streets. Why? Because in their mind, they believe this is affecting them for some reason. But New Breed don't care about white people. Everything he do is pro-black. It's not for the best interest of the city as a whole, all of its residents, no matter what their ethnic background is. And that's typical of what racists do. You know, if you're an elected official, you got to be concerned with the empowerment of everyone, not just one particular group. It doesn't matter. You can't be biased. You can't be partial in judgment. You have to be fair. And in this case, crime affects everyone, white and black. But New Breed wants to protect the criminals. How sad is that, guys? Yeah, you're right. Brainwaves pretty much said that New Breed's audience doesn't have brain waves. Get it? Brain waves. Yeah. And shout out to Caramel Kimmy Kim in the building. What's going on? Show Shao in the building. What's going on? Yeah, they don't got any brains. No waves are in their brains, guys. And that's why they can't use their brain to comprehend that they're following a cult leader who is spiritually lacking in knowledge. You know? Again, why don't New Breed go to DC, go live, hit the streets, go to the hood in DC, and find out what the people are saying? That would make for some good content. Why don't he do it? He got ran out of DC. That's why he's not in DC no more. He got ran out. That man can never go back to DC, guys. He's afraid. Now, why would a man of God be afraid to go back to his hometown? Why don't New Breed go back to DC to liberate his people? Why don't he do it, guys? Why don't New Breed go back to DC? Take a trip to DC, go live in the ghetto. How come he don't do it? That man is scared. Let's get back at the content.
You said a positive way, Chief, but there's some concerns if it is a positive or a negative. Some people may are right in the middle. Do you believe this makes D.C. safer?
This is what I know, and this is what the chief was alluding to, Marissa. We have been, over the last several years, focused on hiring more MPD officers. We're at just over 3,100 officers.
Notice this, guys. I want you to notice this. Shout out to all the ladies. Shout out to all the ladies. Notice you have a black woman in a position of power. You got the chief, who is another woman. It's like women are doing all the work. And these black men, man, I tell you, bro, like, this is sad. This is sad. I just, you know, I kind of just look at these little things. You know what I'm saying? Look at it. DC Mayor Bowser and Police Chief, Smith on mobilizing of National Guard. Notice black women are at the front line while the black man is sitting on his ASS not doing a damn thing. This is sad. This is just sad. Y'all can't see this. The women are leading DC while black men are in the hood drinking and smoking and acting the fool. The women are out here putting in the work. The women, black women, are putting in the work. And yet these men are always talking ish about women ain't ish and they ain't doing nothing. They making bad decisions. You got women making decisions for DC. And New Breed is against that. You know what I realize is going on, guys? The reason why New Breed is against the National Guard coming in there is because he's against the fact that these women are in positions of power and leadership. How come the men aren't leading? How come the black men aren't leading? Why are they not doing nothing? Man, this is sad, bro. Absolutely sad. You know? So shout out to the ladies for standing on business, because what this shows is that New Breed is all talk. All talk, while the women are out on ground zero with boots on the ground, putting in the work, while he just sit on YouTube protecting criminals.
We like to be at 3,800 officers. So to the extent that you see the federal surge creating more arrests, taking more guns.
Do you see what she just said? Making more arrests, taking more guns off the street. New Breed want those guns to remain on the street. Are y'all seeing this? They're making more arrests in DC, taking more guns off the street. Isn't that a good thing? New Breed don't want that to be done, guys. He want the guns to remain so blacks can kill people.
MPD with MPD officers would do the same thing. So I think that we need to be very, very focused on how we recruit, retain officers, how we make sure our policy environment promotes accountability for people who use guns in our city. And those things combined will make our city safe.
What about people who are concerned if someone approaches them and goes, hey, I'm a federal agent? You know, how should they react, and will MPD still be the main and lead agency responding to 911 calls?
So we're going to...
Hold on, let me fix this thing. It's like it's out of sync. Let me do this. Hold on.
Approaches them and goes, hey, I'm a federal agent. You know, how should they react, and will MPD still be the main and lead agency responding to 911 calls?
So we're going to respond to those calls together. If the team is out there, it's a collaborative effort right now, right? We have partnered with our federal law enforcement agencies that are here, and so we go to respond to a call for service anywhere across the city. We will be partnered with our federal partners, and we'll work together.
But those agents will be identifiable for people who are concerned about that.
They are identifiable. They have their own agency logos. They have their exterior vests with this HSI.
I guess what they're talking about right now is situations where, in case somebody got stopped and they're clean, meaning they didn't do anything, everything is good, but you know, those type of concerns.
Whether it's FBI, DEA, they have the visible agency logo, so you will know who they are.
All right, Mayor Bowser, I understand you met with Attorney General Pam Bondi and others yesterday. One question I've gotten repeatedly since is, what is the gauge or the measure of success when it comes to this 30-day period? Did you get any insight on that yesterday?
Well, I think, and I want to thank Attorney General Bondi. I reached out to her. I asked for the meeting. She set it up in less than 24 hours. She also had all of her senior team meetings, including directors of major agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Marshal Service. We had our directors, deputy mayor, the chief, and all of my senior management, so that we are talking through our issues. So just like the executive order says, that we're coordinating through Attorney General Bondi's office. We certainly want to know what we're being measured against, and I think they regard it as a success to have more presence, and to take regard it as a success to have more presence. To take more guns off the street, and we do too. That's what MPD works on every single day, is taking guns off the street. And so, but they also said that this is a surge, and that we are looking to evaluate it in the 30 days that the order lays out.
Okay, so you didn't get any hard, measure, but...
We didn't get any hard measure. And again, we know how the feeling...
I already know the video is out of sync. Who cares? Just listen to what she's saying. I don't got time. This damn computer stuff is acting up.
Crime are sometimes different than seeing numbers go down. And we've seen numbers go down, let me be clear. Over the last 2 years, we have reached a 30-year low in violent crime. What the chief and all of us hear from time to time, though, is that we don't want any crime. And if we are able to put more police on the streets, we want to grow our numbers at MPD, because we know that being able to have a local known police department in neighborhoods generates trust and helps communities help the police make them safer.
In the meeting, did you all talk about the homeless encampments that I know that the president says that he wants to get rid of, and people are concerned? Well, what does that mean for the unhoused, essentially?
Well, we didn't talk about it in that meeting. It was pretty focused on public safety issues. I had an opportunity with my city administrator and other team members to have a community discussion last night. And Marissa, as you know, we already have extensive outreach to our unhoused residents, some of them already on federal property, some of them at other sites throughout the city. Do
you see the tents and those type of things that's there? They don't want all of that stuff all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be real, people. Like, nobody wants to see that. And this is where you have criminality. This is where you get crime, drunks, violence, crazy things happening. It's not supposed to be there, right?
And we want them to come in. That's always our message. It's especially our message right now. We want you to come into shelter, and our outreach workers can tell you how to do it. Concerned community members can call us at 311, and we can get a outreach worker out to talk to a person about coming in.
With the 30-year low in violent crime, Chief Smith, is there anything you think you could have done differently to avoid or thwart what has happened, or do you think in some ways it was just bound to happen because other forces wanted it to?
Well, I think I'll start by saying that, we work with our federal partners all the time, and I think that's really critical for people to understand that these relationships are not new. The surge of law enforcement personnel, I tell you, it will help me to do the things that I need to do. And to the mayor's point, we're down almost 800 police officers. And so this is an opportunity for us to really focus on, number one, building those relationships with our federal partners. But then after the surge is over, right, being able to continue those relationships. So when we have opportunities where we can do small surges or takedowns across our city, we can count on them to be a part of that with us.
Mayor Bowser, in recent years,
small surges or takedowns across our city, we can count on them to be a part of that with us.
Mayor Bowser, in recent years, you seem to have had a cooperative and diplomatic relationship with President Trump, especially when it came to the RFK Stadium deal and such. But with all of this happening over the last few days, where does that relationship stand now?
I'm the mayor and he's the president. I mean, that's always been our relationship. And the D.C. mayor and the president of the United States will always have probably more interaction than any city in the rest of our country. So we're going to keep doing our job. And we're working right now. Our main point of contact on this surge is the Attorney General Bondi, who I have found to be very straightforward. And we got some very positive information, I think, that came out of yesterday's meeting. Our director of our forensics lab was told that the U.S. Attorney and the D.C. Forensics Lab are now working together at yesterday's meeting. That the U.S. Attorney and the D.C. Forensics.
Hold on a second. I don't know why this thing is out of sync, man.
Found to be very straightforward. And we got some very positive information, I think, that came out of yesterday's meeting. Our director of our forensics lab was told that the U.S. Attorney and the D.C. Forensics Lab are now working together again. And we think that is very, very good for public safety.
Do you think in terms of people, maybe visitors wanting to come to D.C., being maybe nervous now because of the law enforcement presence, are you concerned about that? Because I heard from a restaurant owner who says he hasn't gotten the foot traffic in the past couple of days.
Well, we're always concerned about that, the real story of D.C. coming out. And out of this whole discussion, what has to be clear is that D.C. is not a dirty city. D.C. has beautiful neighborhoods across all 8 wards. We have an incredible team of local government workers that work every day to pick up the trash, clean the streets, cut the trees, cut the grass. We're going to have a incredible cadre of teachers and educators going back next week to get ready for the first day of school in just under 2 weeks. So our city is running. We take care of ourselves. We're operating in a fiscal environment that's difficult, but we are maintaining our high level of services.
In saying that, I noticed, and maybe you've seen some of the memes going around, that of the cities that have been seemingly targeted by President Trump, they're urban cores, predominantly with marginalized communities, vote heavily Democratic. How much of this do you believe is out of genuine safety concern versus politically and socially motivated?
Well, I think for the purpose of our conversation today, what's important is the reality that we're dealing with.
And the reality is a lot of ninjas are committing crimes. That's the reality. And if the National Guard can be of any assistance of ridding these communities of these savages and criminals, that's good for business. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the reporter's trying to trip her up. In other words, trying to bait her into responding to, do you think that the situation that's going on is like targeted towards like minorities and blacks and whatever the case is? No, she knows how to respond. You know what I mean? It's not about all of that. It's about getting rid of the criminals. You know, we understand what's going on in the city.
D.C., the President of the United States can make an emergency declaration. And it doesn't really matter what the numbers say. He can make an emergency declaration. Now, what we want to do is make sure that this federal surge is useful to us. And that's what the chief has been very, very good in working with the federal leadership and accomplishing. So let's keep working together. Let's stay safe. Let's be smart. I know people have.
It pretty much went back around, but let me get to the post, guys. Let me get to the post that this demon named New Breed post on his sick YouTube platform. He posts this basically trying to incite hatred against the federal government. And I want to read some of this because this is very telling of a plot and a plan to recruit people for a war. And I don't know how many members he got in his criminal enterprise. I don't know, but he's recruiting them by the thousands. But let's read it from the top. He says, they just turned my hometown into a military zone. Now, keep in mind, he's not concerned with the fact that crime is being resolved. He's not concerned about none of that. He's more concerned that the military is there. He says, and if you think it stops here, you're not paying attention. So he wants you to be full of fear, to be concerned that it's coming to a city near you. Might not be living there right now, but DC is where I'm from. Well, why don't you go back? And what they're doing to it is straight up foul. How is it foul to get rid of crime? Do y'all see the sickness of his comments? Trump just snatched control of the city, took over the police, and brought in the National Guard like it's a war zone. Like it's a war zone, but that's what you said you wanted, war. You always tell everybody there's going to be a race war. You even said you wanted war when Brainwaves and the brothers was trying to resolve all of our issues. You said, forget about peace. You want war. So what are you talking about? He goes on and he says all of this off a so-called crime emergency that doesn't even line up with the facts. So he don't care about crime. He said this ain't about safety. It's about control. Duh. Everything got to be controlled. Everything, including the criminals. It's about control. That's exactly what it is. Control. Why would you want criminals roaming the streets committing crimes? You got to control that. If you have a bacteria or a disease, you got to control the disease. So everything is about control. There's not a problem with that. You're under control. YouTube control you. The powers that be on YouTube control everybody. You can't do what you want on YouTube. If you do, you get dealt with. You know, there's certain things I would love to say and do, but I got to follow the rules. I got to do what I got to do. You know, you control at your job. When you go to your job, you got policies that you must follow to make it a safe work environment. And that's pretty much it. You can't rebel against the system or else you get punished. Everybody knows that. Everybody's on their best behavior when they're at work because we know we got to follow the law of the land. It's just that simple. I worked around people that I didn't like. I didn't like these people. But in the workplace, I was a professional. I made sure that I did my job and I respected all of the workers, even workers that I didn't like personally, because I signed up to do my job and be a team player. That's just the way it is. We didn't discriminate. If somebody was gay, we worked with them. We didn't look at them like, oh, that brother's gay, I ain't working with him. Nah, we didn't do that. We treated everybody with respect. Everybody. That's how we worked. And even off the clock, because even off the clock, you can't do stupid stuff. You can get in trouble even with that, you know? But this guy don't want the National Guard to bring the city under control. So he's using subliminals by saying this ain't about safety. It's about control. That's like manipulate. He's manipulating the viewer into thinking that Trump is not doing this to keep the city safe. That don't make no sense. He said they're pushing people out. No, they're not. They're not pushing nobody out. They're taking these homeless people off the streets and putting them in shelters where they belong and in mental institutions so they could get the proper treatment. You don't want that for the city of DC? You don't want that? No, you don't want that. You want criminals to be active. So he says they're pushing people out, targeting the homeless, and stripping the power from the folks the residents actually voted for. DC is just the testing ground. They already got their eyes on other black majority cities. Do you see what he's doing? He made it a black issue, guys. How come he ain't saying nothing about whites? White people were in the street marching. White people are fighting against Trump. They don't like him too. There's pockets of whites that don't like Trump. Out in North Carolina, everybody liked Trump. So you better not say nothing about anti-Trump. They're going to get you. Oh yeah, they don't play. They don't play. These people are diehard Trump supporters. Diehard Trump supporters. You know, some of them will look at you if you're black and automatically believe you don't support Trump. But if you had a shirt on that said pro-Trump, man, you know how much conversations you get in the Walmarts, the Food Lions. You get conversations like never before just by wearing a shirt. People just start switching up. It's crazy. You start meeting people you would never meet just because they see that you're in support of Trump. But see, New Breed, he's in support of criminals. I'm in support of anybody that's ridden crime, because eventually this is going to come to other major cities. And I'm all for it. I don't got nothing to worry about because I'm not a criminal. Only criminals worry about what's going on in terms of the federal, the National Guard being, put out in DC. Right? So he goes on and says, this is a violation of human rights. What are you talking about, human rights? You don't got no damn rights if you're a criminal. What human rights? And you out here vandalizing the city and committing crimes. That ain't no human rights. What do you mean violating human rights? And it's a warning shot to the whole country. If they can roll into the Capitol and take over, they can roll in your city next. That's more fear-mongering. Brainwaves talked about that in his video. Brainwaves talked about this already, guys. Make sure you check out his channel and subscribe. He talked about how New Breed, let me tell you something, guys. If you watch my platform in regards to content and relates to New Breed, make sure you are tuning in to Brainwaves' platform. Brainwaves put in hours and hours of work, and New Breed ignores his channel as if though he don't exist because he don't want nobody to know about his platform. He's more concerned about me. So he makes stupid videos about me every day. I'm not worried about New Breed. New Breed is a joke to me. Nobody ain't taking him no mind. That's why his videos don't get no views, especially when he try to imply that I'm a criminal. Nobody ain't listening to all of that. People are actually rather disgusted in him because they see what he's doing. Like he makes videos saying, leave me alone, leave me alone. But then he'll come back with 2-3 videos about you. And his audience is like, bro, why don't you give it a rest? You still talking about this guy Ringo, but yet if he responds, then you cry the victim when you've been talking about this man. So you can't get mad at Ringo if he responds. You can't get mad, right? So he's fear-mongering, guys. He wants you to believe that Trump is coming to your city to control you. He says, we can't just sit back. Now, notice the wording, guys. You got to pay attention to the wordplay. He says, we can't just sit back. So what is New Breed implying that you should do? Go to war. Fight and kill. That's what he's doing. He's saying we just can't sit back. We can't do that. We just can't sit back. We have to fight. We just can't sit back. Speak up. Call it what it is. Once we accept military occupation in one city, it's only a matter of time before the whole nation is under the same boot. So what he wants us to do, what New Breed Global Lies is wanting his viewers, not my viewers. My viewers are civilized. The people who watch my platform are civilized human beings that go to work and they want to live in peace. New Breed's viewers, on the other hand, are militant agents of chaos who follow the devil and they want to resort to violence. So New Breed is giving them a command. He's saying we just can't sit back. So he's literally promoting violence against the National Guard. So to the National Guard, you got to be concerned with these type of cell organizations on social media that are grouping their viewers and weaponizing their following to respond to the federal government in terms of the Trump administration deploying the National Guard in D.C. to clean up crime. New Breed Global Lies don't want this in D.C. And he's calling for people to react to this now before other cities have military in their states as well. And that's what he's doing, guys. You know? And it's sick. Shout out to Exandra for the support. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. Says rolling through to support this content, Ringo. Hope everyone is having a blessed day. Appreciate you stopping by, sponsoring the show. Hope you have a blessed day as well. Shout out to Christina. Christina in the building with the $5 support. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. Says new demon talking, but I bet he won't go take his followers and go to DC and protest in the streets. Shaking my head. Of course not. He would never do that. Because he's just like a lot of YouTubers. They just talk online to get a YouTube check, but they would never go put boots on the ground. They would never do that because they're scared. He ain't trying to get arrested. You know, with his record, he ain't trying to get no more on his rap sheet. You know, the minute he go down there, he might get arrested. He probably ran from DC from something he probably did to somebody. He probably running from the law, for all we know. That's why he not in DC. Think about it, guys. You never know. Let's read some of the comments, guys. Let's read some of the comments from that post, that New Breed post. Let's see what his viewers are saying to see what's going on in their minds. I'm going to open the screen up a little bit more so you guys are able to see what's going on his platform so that we can see if there's any militant, organized terror cells in the works. So let's see. Jer 1111 pretty much said that the elite are behind world chaos. It started with the Democrats just letting illegals in to overstretch resources. They will come in and establish their new world order. Once all countries are in chaos, the world religion or mark of the beast is Islam. So, yeah, that's what that person's saying. Somebody else came in and pretty much said, so we're just going to let young black men keep killing each other and looking the other way, blaming everyone and not taking personal action and accountability? If it stays the same, we get the same results. Wow. Shout out to Joseph. You see, at least Joseph appeared to be civilized. So shout out to you, Joseph. Good on you. Seemed like a good, upright standing guy. Joseph have brains. Sadly, New Breed don't. Let's see what else we got, guys. Love Heal says, you must know that DC is a federal zone. They so-called own the jurisdiction, and as a sovereign, DC is fraud. Your hometown should be Republic of Columbia, but it's a district owned by Fed territory and has its own limits. Stay prayed up and fear nothing they are doing. It's all to push fear. But that's what New Breed does. New Breed pushes fear. You know? New Breed fearmonger all the time. He wants people to live in fear. That's what he do all the time, guys. Bloom with Eva says, prayers. They've been snatching people up off the streets since Biden was in office here in California. Homeless people can't even sleep in their vehicles anymore. See, people are overreacting because New Breed is causing public outrage. It's very clear what the agenda is. Get off the streets, get into the shelters, and take the resources that the federal government is providing. If the homeless don't want to do that, they go to prison, period. And it's not just about the homeless. Everybody's making this a homeless issue. The National Guard is cleaning up DC, which means they're going into all the crime-infested communities, cleaning up all the drugs. There's a high presence of the National Guard walking around, and they're not playing or taking any BS from any YNs. It's not happening, right? Vernani, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name. Richard says, everything is playing out according to scripture. The world is full of sin. Repent and endure till the end. Can't worry or get upset about the Most High judging this world. Right? So basically, she's saying that people need to repent, but New Breed don't want nobody to repent. He don't teach repentance. He want crime to continue to go on in DC. Shout out to Robert for the support. Robert, shout out to you for the $4.99. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. Says New Breed is just saying that because his time is up. Salute to you, Ringo. Appreciate the work you do. 100. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. Right? And shout out to all the mods in the building. You know what I'm saying? All the mods that are at work, taking care of their business. Appreciate all of y'all for even spending a few over here while we take care of business as well. Yeah, so at least she's telling people to repent. New Breed don't tell nobody to repent. But notice what she said. She says, it don't make no sense you get upset about the Most High judging this world. You see, what's going on in DC is God's judgment. But New Breed can't see that because he's of the devil. Any man of God would know that God is judging the world. But he can't see that. He wants crime to continue to go down. It's sick. It don't make no sense. Yahweh Live says, exactly. It's about control. They're just showing us what is to come in the future. That person is brainwashed about it's about control. Like somebody's trying to control you in a bad way. They're trying to control crime. Nobody's doing nothing to civilize human beings. Those of you that are civilized humans who go to work and go home, nobody's bothering you. The National Guard is not bothering the residents of DC that are working class citizens that pay their taxes, that have no criminal history, that have a clean driving record. They're not bothering you. It's the criminals that are worrying about this, right? Sacred Walked By says, yup, Detroit, next. I'm trying to tell people to get prepared mentally and physically to wake up and stop playing for real. Now, think about the mental health issues that person have. They said, yup, Detroit next. I'm trying to tell people to get prepared mentally. Prepared for what? If civilized people are living their lives, they don't got nothing to be prepared for. Only criminals think like that. Only criminals, people. Only criminals are worried about the National Guard. Sketch says, we all either need to take a serious final stance against this wicked, corrupt government. Now, watch what's happening here, guys, because New Breed claimed that I'm a federal informant. But look what this person says. And these are all New Breed's followers. These are published on New Breed's platform, which means this is what New Breed encourages. This person says we all either need to take a serious final stance against this wicked, corrupt government regime once and for all. So he's basically calling for a war. He's basically calling for people to stand together and fight the government. That's what New Breed Global Lies is encouraging on his platform. Ain't that something? That's crazy, right? This person says we need to take a final stand and fight. Or we move out the country altogether and let Trump have this son of a gun till we figure out a deadly execution strategy with the power of the Almighty by our side. So this religious cult that New Breed follow is trying to figure out a deadly execution strategy. Guys, I am literally reading to you the plans of this terror organization that is on New Breed Global Lies platform, where you got people posting these terroristic comments. Look at these comments. These are terroristic threats posted on YouTube. This is crazy. All I'm doing is reacting, guys. I'm reacting to bring awareness to this because I don't want no harm done to, the good men and women of the National Guard by these terror cell organizations. This person says they need to leave the country altogether and let Trump have this son of a gun till we, now he said we, which includes New Breed and all of his cult members, figure out a deadly execution strategy. So they're planning on killing people. Do y'all see that? That's crazy. A deadly execution strategy with the power of the Almighty by our sides. So they believe that God is going to give them the power to fight the government, to kill them. That's what they're talking about on New Breed Global Truth's platform. I say Global Lies, but I just want to make it clear. New Breed Global Truth for the record, so that, the National Guard is aware of this terror cell that is active online. So, and New Breed resides in Georgia. So just in case, because it's crazy how a person can be on YouTube when their IP address is visible and they got this kind of content being posted up there. They literally are planning on fighting the government, guys. It's crazy. Now remember, New Breed said that I'm a federal informant, which makes no sense because if I was a federal informant, you wouldn't even know. The only way you would know is if you're a federal informant. Do you see that, guys? He say federal informant because he don't want nobody viewing my videos. That's all it is. It's all a money grab to get money and views. These people don't care about the people that watch their platform. They just want money. Right? So, what we got? Pedro. Pedro says, wait, we had Pedro's comment? No. We had what is that? Montez says, Breed. Evidently, you must not be familiar with all the political corruption being rooted out. Think taking back the city. The homeless people are being helped. They just don't let them come right back like they do in LA. Pedro says DC has become a war zone. The way Philly, Chicago is, would you prefer the people keep getting robbed, beaten, unalived with impunity, and have zero consequences? If so, you are not the person I thought you were, New Breed. Wow. Shout out to Pedro. Shout out to Pedro. Shout out to Pedro, hermano. Que lo que, hermano? Pedro. Bueno, bueno, bueno. Great comment from Pedro. Pedro says, man. Now notice this. Pedro is waking up to the fact that New Breed is a demon. Pedro is literally waking up, guys. And that's what I like to see. I like to see people that are waking up to the lies that New Breed is in fact a demon sent by the devil. That's New Breed right there, guys. As a demon. Ain't that something? Pedro can see the truth. Pedro literally said, what he said, he says, would you prefer the people keep getting robbed, beaten, unalived, with impunity, and have zero consequences? If so, you are not the person I thought you were, New Breed. This is the Most High's hand of protection being taken away from the terrible run Democrat cities. Yeshua is coming, and all these crime-ridden cities will be judged, just like America will be judged when Yeshua, I guess, takes his place or whatever. I didn't click read more. But shout out to Pedro, because you can see through the lies of New Breed. Unwind says, yes, they're already saying how horrible Baltimore is. Brandon says, keep being blessed, my guy. I don't know why people are talking about you, but it got to stop. Brandon is an idiot. I mean, you got these kind of degenerates, man, that is worried about people talking about New Breed when New Breed clearly is a so-called savage who is promoting violence and want to protect criminals rather than promote what the Most High is doing in DC. Pedro got it. Pedro understands that he thought New Breed was a man of God. And I'm pretty sure Pedro most likely unsubscribed already. You see? Brandon is a nut job. Let's see what else we got, guys. And again, make sure you hit the like button. Info guy says, they are paid for by the people. It's amazing. When feds who protect us come in, they are an invading force. But when illegals are here, they are not. They are controlling black communities because your black leaders cannot. Crime is out of control in these inner cities. You are just flabbergasted because you are not used to people trying to reduce crime. That is why crime is high in your communities. I'm sure you left DC for a safe, non-black community. Wow. Shout out to Info Guy. Shout out to Info Guy, man. Shout out to Info Guy for making sense of a bad situation. Info Guy gets it. You see, some people that post under his posts are civilized human beings. They know that New Breed left DC for a safe, non-black community. Now, keep in mind, guys, New Breed live in a white community. All white. New Breed lives in a white community, guys. He don't live in the black community. But he acts like he cares. He don't care, guys. Let's see what else we got. Front Word says, you couldn't stop the crime in your community, so someone had to step in. I've been carjacked in DC, cars stolen, etc. by your FBA people. Wow. 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 Wow, wow, wow. That's crazy. Front Word basically said that he's been carjacked, cars stolen, etc. by foundational black Americans. He said, your people. Y'all don't care that these men are terrorizing the streets and making it unsafe for everyone. Don't play victims now that law and order is being enforced. I never understood why y'all love to protect criminals. Wow. Oh, man. Wow. Hey, shout out to Front Word, man. Shout out to you, dog. Let's see what Pamela got to say. Pamela says, everything they are doing, I declare destruction in their plans. The enemy destroyed, and all of their plans are canceled. In Almighty Jesus Christ's name, amen. I believe in God, not men. See, Pamela is what you call a degenerate, a savage. She's literally trying to condemn the plans of the National Guard and the Trump administration from cleaning up DC. Are y'all seeing this? She's literally calling on Jesus Christ using spiritual witchcraft. That's what I call that. Spiritual witchcraft is when people try to pray against the will of God. It's witchcraft, is what she's doing. That's crazy. She literally said, everything they are doing, I declare destruction in their plans. That's how New Breed talks. I'm pretty sure New Breed be using the same prayers against me, Brainwaves, and Rollo all the time. And it don't work. It never works. Let's see. Acre show, I'm not sure what this person's name is, says, I already know that it's going to get worse. New Breed, it's sad, but it's prophesied. But I wish that we had somewhere else to go. What do you mean somewhere else to go? What are you afraid of? This is crazy. Barbara says, the Most High God, Ahia, is about to bring Jacob into rulership with Christ, Yeshua, and they know it. Man, I don't got no time to read all this mess. This all that religious stuff, I don't got time, man. These people just be religious, posting a bunch of garbage, bro. Like, for real. Listen, if what she's saying is so, she's basically saying that the criminals, the people that are out there committing crimes, are God's people. And God is going to bring these degenerate savages into rulership. Does that make sense? That don't make no sense at all. So why are these people so religious, man? It's crazy. Let me go on to the next comment. I don't got time for that mess. Captain Punktard, whatever, says, flush Chicago next. These cities are disgusting and full of demons. You should know this. They can flush my city too. There's no redemption for the demon hives. They don't respect anything but force. Shout out to Captain Punk. Shout out to you, Captain Punktard. See? Shout out to Captain Punktard. Captain Punktard gets it. He said, flush Chicago next. These cities are disgusting and full of demons. See, he gets it. He understands. New breed don't. Let's see. Face, what's that? Face says, can't trust anyone who is against safe streets. Maybe you are the problem. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Shout out to Face. Says, can't trust anyone who is against safe streets. Do you see that, guys? The person named Face is taking a shot at New Breed because New Breed don't want the streets to be safe. He said he can't trust nobody that don't want safe streets. Maybe you are the problem. Ain't that powerful? That's why I decided to do this video, guys, because I wanted to acknowledge the voices of these people. I'm all for the people. These people don't have platforms where they make videos. I want their voice to be heard. That's why I'm using my platform and my reach to get the word out, guys. Yvonne says, there has been a lot going on here. You'd have to be here to see it. A lot of murders not being televised, robberies and mugging, public outrage from the young crowd. That 2K drug is really doing a number on the younger crowd. The crime rate is high right now. It isn't being televised, just like most of the murders aren't. We can't continue to keep sweeping things under the rug. Some people are too wild and need to be taken out, unfortunately, in order to make our cities safe. Man. Shout out to Yvonne. Do you see that, guys? So we got some civilized people that are in New Breed's chat that are coming against him for his garbage content. They can see that he's full of crap. They know he's full of crap, guys. Ethics says the media said something about seeing 7 feet tall African American aliens. Then this. They know Christ is almost on his way. And man, I don't got time for all that. I don't want to hear no religious comments about Christ coming and all this other stuff. I don't want to hear that because people always want to turn a topic into religion. These people are always talking about Christ is doing this, Christ is doing that, and they can't even pay their bills. You know, when they ready, they begging God for this and begging God. God ain't even doing anything for them. But they got all this information of Christ coming. Man, stop it. The only thing that's coming is your bills. Now, notice this wonderful comment from Frederick. Frederick says it's time for war. So one of New Breed's terror cell members is recruiting people and inciting violence and war. These people don't even have a military, but they want to go to war against the National Guard. Ain't that crazy? It's crazy. You know? This doesn't make no sense. Yeah, I'll do that. Cedron says you need to make video on that. Can't trust people. Can't trust no one who doesn't want safe streets. Yeah, I'll probably do that later. Okay, so let's see what we got. Ann says Jamaica had such operations already in the past. It's called state of emergency here. It may be uncomfortable, but it helps to cut down crime and violence. This is what happens when the church is sleeping and lukewarm and not praying, fighting against all evil to stop people from getting demon possessed and committing crimes and violence. If the church can't stop it, the government will. Wow. Wow. Shout out to Ann. See, Ann gets it, guys. Ann understands that the church is full of ish. Ann understands that people like New Breed are not preaching the gospel to rid people from their demons. Instead, New Breed encouraged demonic possession because he's a warlock, right? So let's see what else we got. Majestic says, exactly, we must be bold and courageous. I guess that person want war. Sarah says there's no hope. Don't be discouraged. Queen Mentality says you are 100% correct. They are testing the waters and trying to condition us. It's happening. That's another brainwashed person. They can't see. The Bum Vessel says, and you think you can make DC better place? Yo, get the F out of here. You know, I agree. Because New Breed is acting like he's going to make DC better. New Breed is not no mayor. New Breed is not the chief of police. New Breed is a bum who's just on social media running his mouth. He ain't in DC. He ain't marching in DC. He ain't doing nothing for the homeless. He ain't donating no money to the homeless. He ain't feeding the homeless. He ain't doing nothing for the single mothers in DC. He don't care. What he care about is a YouTube check. Just keeping it a buck. Right? So, let's see what we got. Okay. Says exactly. He don't even stay here anymore to see what's actually going on. Shout out to Ivani. Yvonne Young says, exactly. He don't even stay here anymore to see what's actually going on. In other words, you don't live in DC, New Breed. So why are you talking as if though you know what's going on? You left DC because of being a criminal. That's why you left DC. Right, as Rollo would say. Right. Let's see what else we got. We got E6 says Trump's policies target Blacks Americans. Chinese internets targets Black people and spreads racism against them. And China is an advocate for repressing ethnic minorities in China. Trump is using China's blueprint for ruling America. That's just another racist. That's a black racist right there, guys. A black racist. We're not even going to read his second comment because he's a racist. Let's see what we got. So we got Life says, it's terrible. It is, but look what we do to each other. If we police our own hoods and work together instead of tearing each other down, none of this would exist. But nothing will change till the Most High come back. Wow. Yes, at Priceless Princess, he says, is New Breed's baby mama white? Yes. In a video that I talked about, she said that her father is a Spaniard from Spain, which makes him a white man, and her mom is Mexican, therefore she is white. That's exactly it, guys. She's white. But New Breed acts like he's pro-black. That's the thing that's amazing. It's like, your wife is white, but you play pro-black and you claim you're FBA. That's crazy. It don't even make no sense. You know? And he have the white woman living in the big house while the other baby mamas is in the projects. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that all of New Breed's baby mamas are living in the projects on Section 8? Did y'all know that? How come he ain't bring all the wives into the big house so they could all stay in a separate room? Remember when New Breed made that video when he leased the house? He said God blessed them with a house and it's a house to store wives. Y'all remember that video? How come all of his wives are not in the house serving him as a king? He just got baby mamas, guys, all over different area codes. He probably got a baby mama in DC for all we know. He probably owed child support. It's crazy, man. But let's get back to the content. See what we got. So, Life says it's terrible, but it is. But look what we do to each other. In other words, what black people do to each other. If we policed our own hoods and worked together instead of tearing each other down, none of this would exist. And you know, the person is right. Black people don't work together. We kill each other. But nothing will change till the Most High come back. That's right. Black community will always be down. It's none of your conspiracy theories. The crime is getting worse. What they claim. I guess than what they claim. Yeah, crime is getting worse. Exactly. They aren't televising everything. You'd have to be here to see it. It's getting worse. Now notice, these are residents. These are people that live in DC, guys. These are people that live in DC that are posting comments on the New Breed's post by calling him on his bull crap, by telling him, you don't even know what you're talking about, dude. Crime is on a rise, and you're making it seem like it's something bad that Trump is doing when he's doing a good thing. People are tired of the crime, right? Golden Wolf says, sometimes it's not what it looks like. Here is a different view. It could be war footing for the visit with Putin. Primo says, I'm glad I left DC when I did. Notice, New Breed put a heart on that person's comment. Why? Because New Breed know DC is filled with crime. He's a hypocrite. He's upset that Trump federalized the National Guard to take over, but he heart a woman's comment for saying, I'm glad I left DC when I did, which means New Breed is glad he left DC when he did. So what exactly is he fighting for? You know? What exactly is New Breed fighting for? If he glad he left DC, he's agreeing with her, guys. So New Breed don't care about DC. It's all a grift, guys. It's one big grift. Out of everybody's comment, he posts a heart on hers. Absolutely sad, bro. Straight up, bro. He did the same with the Latino community in LA. He's trying to seize control and enact martial law as a king. It's perverted. No, you're just a hater of Trump. You're just a hater. Right? Let's see. Nasara says, I used to live in DC, Upshur Streets, southwest off of Georgia Ave, and stayed in Connecticut Ave at one time. Adams Morgan back in the 90s and late 80s used to frequent Howard University and reggae club, Killa Manjaro. I don't know, she's remembering her club days. But notice, New Breed hearts her comment. You see that? Probably trying to recruit a new wife. Let's see. Callie something says, we better fight back. Notice, more fighting, guys. We better fight back. Just like we told the Mexicans, it's called decide and conquer. Laws is all in the wording. If we got to go, they got to go, point blank. So this person is inciting violence in New Breed's comment section, which New Breed approves of. You see that? He said we got to fight. If we got to go, they got to go. So basically they're talking about killing people, guys. Rob says, it will never end until you, the people, physically take your streets back. They push, you push back. They hit, you hit back. Being passive is not working. So this person is literally asking the people to fight the National Guard. Karina says, I live in DC and I applaud President Trump for what he is doing. Shout out to Katrina. Katrina got brains, guys. You know? King Carl says, it's super dangerous. My friend just got shot and paralyzed in DC visiting a friend. It's bad. Now think about that. Why New Breed ain't talking about these things? King Carl says his friend got shot and paralyzed in DC, and New Breed don't care. He loves when black people get shot and paralyzed. Yvonne says, he's the only one stepping up, meaning Trump. This is the nation's capital. We are supposed to be leaders. We can't let these fools take over and destroy our homes. Why New Breed want crime to continue? DC is a war zone. New Breed, stop deleting comments. Whoa! Wow! Wow, wow, wow. Do you see that, ladies and gentlemen? That is why I have to do this video, because New Breed is a demon. And he's deleting people's comments, guys. New Breed is deliberately deleting comments from viewers because he don't want them to post their thoughts. He don't want them to post their thoughts. You see that? King Carl says DC is a war zone. New Breed, stop deleting comments. Wow, son, you just as fake as these DC gangsters. That's why I'll never go back. Wow. I actually heard that New Breed got ran out of DC. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually hearing that he got ran out like a coward. And he packed his bags and he left running scared. I actually heard that, fam, from 2 different sources. You know? It's crazy, man. Let's get back at the content. See what else we got. So, Antonio says they are creating a real life Hunger Games out here. Shaking my head. It's such a shame. Father God will punish the wicked very soon. I don't know. He sounds neutral. T.Y. says all praises to the Most High. K says it's so wrong, but they've always been trying to subdue Judah. You see, this person is religious and silly since they've arrived in their ships. But this is the time to reject that pedophile dictator. This is crazy. Trump is cleaning up the community, and this person is calling him a pedophile dictator. Man, I tell you. Reconcile says, they're preparing for October. Remnant need to be praying daily and fasting often. Things are not what they seem. It's already setting up for martial law. Everybody not even all the way human. And man, I don't got time for this BS. Move on to the next comment. Some people be posting comments that don't make no sense. Narrow Path says, seems like this post is going over most people's heads. The last part of this post is what people need to be concerned about. It's not gonna stop with DC. Notice that's fair. Notice New Breed heart the comment. You see that? Exactly. That part there. This is what he wants to do to the entire US. He wants to be a sitting dictator so he doesn't go to jail. He must have done something really bad at Epstein Island. You see that? New Breed heart that person comment. Because of fear. New Breed want you to fear that this is coming to a city near you. Somebody says, brother, I'm here and this ish out of pocket. See what else we got. Somebody says, so New Breed, thank you for the information, but please let these people grammar is horrible, bro. I guess please let us know what to do. I've been everywhere and no help or change. I choir feed up with the corruption. Man, I tell you, bro. I can't read that person. That whoever that is, fam, Naisha, you need to go get your grammar checked. Boy. User incremental Freemason sorcery. Since DC has no state, they make the first step to supersede state rights, and as a small side reduced DC crime, we don't believe anything inside the simulation can supersede. Man, I don't got time for that mess, guys. Move on. Some people are just crazy. When you look at their comments, you could tell they're crazy. You know, they're just mentally sick, guys. That's why I don't read it. Y'all got to understand that the National Guard is just another way to protect and serve like police. But if y'all gonna drag ish because y'all hate Trump narrative, laughing out loud, what are you really saying here? Right? I agree. Somebody says, you are so lost, my friend. Step out of the small bubble that you live your life in so that you can truly see. If you were attuned to biblical and historical knowledge, you would have the discernment to know what times we're living in. Actually, the person that's talking don't even have no biblical knowledge. They sound dumb. Nobody who is locked up on this channel hates Trump. New Breed hates Trump and you hate Trump. You know what I mean? He goes on and he says, this is about, we understand that Trump is just a figurehead for the powers that are really in control. That is about the good versus evil that is prophesied in the Holy Bible. The mass majority are incapable of waking up to the truth because it's written that the broad path leads to damnation. Man, these people are too religious, bruh. Yvonne says something had to be done. These fools are running rampant. You have to actually be here to see it. The K2 drug is running wild, having the young crowd crashing out all over the place, running havoc. Wandy says, reminds me of a dream I had about a year ago now. Looked out my door and it looked like a third world country at war. Let me see. Well, the mayor had no solutions. She did nothing. Now y'all mad because she took control? I mean, these comments are sick, guys. I'm not even reading anymore, guys. I don't feel like reading any more of this. I read enough. You know, this guy, New Breed Global Destruction, is a sad case to the people on social media because he's inciting violence and chaos. Rather than teaching people to follow God, to repent of their sins, to get right with the Creator, he's leading people to fight against the government, against the National Guard, to protest. All of this is criminal. We can't tolerate this, guys. Do we want DC to be filled with crime or to have it cleaned up? Aren't you single mothers tired of the criminals running the streets and your children can't go outside and play? You know? So I'm gonna get up on out of here, guys. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to all the mods in the chat, everybody in the building. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Yeah. This guy, New Breed Global Lies, is trying to recruit people to hate Trump, to hate America. He hates America. He's anti-American, anti-Trump, anti-truth. And he believes he's doing God's work. Sick. So, y'all take care, guys. We're going to get up on out of here. I'll catch you later in another stream. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you enjoyed the breakdown. Right? We have Justin J said Ringo is bootlicking the American government now. Shaking my head. How could I be bootlicking the American government? That don't even make sense. You know? That don't make sense, Justin. In what way am I bootlicking the American government by speaking on the issues that are affecting D.C.? D.C. is full of crime. And Trump is doing the right thing by sending in the National Guard to clean it up. How could I be bootlicking the government? It's not making no sense. I'm on the right side of history. You're trying to protect criminals from running the streets. You know? It don't make no sense. So I'm gonna get up on out of here, guys. Y'all have a blessed day. I'll be back later on with more content. So rate, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you later on. Peace and blessings to the mods in the chat. Show Shao, V Dubman, Caramel, Kimmy Kim, Brainwaves of Ice Topic LLC. Shout out to all the members: Christina, Excedrin, Elaine, Floridine, Rollo. Shout out to everybody in the building. Lively Cuts, Rissa. I'll catch y'all all in the next stream, guys. It's just sad that people are still following this grifter, this criminal that worked for the devil, posing like a child of God, posing like a chosen one. But really, he's not really a biblical man. He's a narcissist, a warlock who want you to go to prison and die. Don't fall for the okie doke, guys. Rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm out of here, guys. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace and blessings. I'm out. Peace. We out of here. Ringo TV Reactions. Rate, comment, and subscribe.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/Ringo TV Raw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at Ringo TV Raw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.